Hi friends, it's Amanda Jean and it is story time. This is going to be the story of my first boy phone call. Um, so we left off after Halloween. We're still in ninth grade. Um, Ninth grade was a whirlwind of me coming into my own a little bit, learning how to dress better and things like that. We'll go more in depth into it after with the next story time video. But this one, what we're gonna do a little bit, we're gonna jump the gun a little bit in the story because I feel like this one deserves its own spot, even though it's still part of the whole ninth grade experience that I had. So to catch you up and give some more background, Halloween happened, flirted a lot with Peter, and then school went back to normal, but eventually we traded, the seating chart changed in Spanish, and I ended up sitting right behind Peter, and the order was Tyler, then Peter, then me in the row that we were in, the column that we were in, because in Spanish we were put in partnerships to practice conversation and things like that. Like that was our beginning warm up for every class period, is we had about 10 minutes where we, hola, ¿cómo estás? Oh, ¿cómo te llamas? You know, like back and forth between you and your partner. So we were in columns so that you and your partner were opposite each other, and then you would do the conversation. So Peter wasn't my partner, but he was sitting right in front of me. And I remember my partner, my very first partner in Spanish was awesome. She was fantastic. And she and I would practice, and then we would make it through the entire conversation bit that we were supposed to do, and then we'd do it again, and then we'd do it again, and we would just practice. And I felt like I got really good. Well, my next partner was not as willing to participate, or you know, he would go through it once with me. I remember that. I don't even remember who my partner was, but I remember he was a bit of a dud. And at first that was kind of discouraging, but then as things progressed with Peter, I didn't mind so much because I would get the conversation done with my partner, and then I'd talk to Peter for the whole rest of it. So I don't know how my Spanish teacher felt about that arrangement, but that's how it ended up. And so like I said, it was Tyler, then Peter, then me. And the thing was, though, is that as time progressed through the quarter, I was finding that I liked both Tyler and Peter. I think I liked Peter a little bit more, but I really was kind of torn. And I wasn't really sure. I liked them both. So then we got a substitute in Spanish one day, and or maybe for a couple of days, I'm not sure, but we got a sub, and with that sub, our teacher gave us these pretty big packets of like busy work to complete while the sub was there. And I remember it was ridiculous, and they were kind of difficult, not always easy to understand, and it was a pain in the butt. And they were yellow. I remember they were all on yellow paper, and I hated it. And it was hard for me to get it done because I had Peter in front of me and he was talking to me the whole time, but I still did it. I didn't get it done by the time our teacher came back from wherever she had been. And nobody did. Nobody had it done because it was a long and weird packet. And she was very disappointed in us for not having it done by the time she got back. And I was like, lady, do you have any idea what you gave us? Anyway, so she gave us some more time. And Peter still was just like not doing it. And I finally got it done. And then we were given the deadline of when the packet was due. And you were supposed to do it at home if you weren't getting it done in class by the time it was due, you know? And I would start helping Peter in class, and he was really hopeless. It was really bad. And eventually he asked me for my phone number so that he could call me and we could work on the packet at home together. So I gave him my phone number and he was going to call me that night. We were going to work on the packet. And that was crazy to me. But I did it. And so then that night Peter calls me, and we didn't get very far in conversation before Peter had to hang up on me, and because somebody had called him. And then while I was waiting for Peter to call me back, there's another phone call, so I answer it. And and by the way, this is all being done on my home phone. This was before I had a cell phone. This was before everyone had cell phones. So this was my home phone. So anybody who called me ran the risk of, getting my sister or my brother or my mother, and but I was right by the phone because I was on the phone with Peter before, and I was expecting it to be Peter on the phone when I answered, and it wasn't. It was Tyler. And I was like, okay, did not give Tyler my phone number. And he asked me some bogus question about the Spanish homework that like we all knew he knew the answer to, or something, like some kind of weird small talky kind of situation. And then he was like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I like you. And I was like, I was shell shocked. I didn't know how to, like, I'd never been like confronted with that before. It was very sudden. It was very, I don't know. So I was like, I like you too. And then like the phone call ended. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it because I didn't give him, like, I don't know. I mean, I was honest, right? But if I were to go back in time, I don't think I would have told him that I liked him too, just because it felt, there was something about that phone call that didn't feel right. Even though I did have feelings for him at the time, I wasn't comfortable with how the situation presented itself and how it ended. Like it wasn't okay. So then he and I got off the phone, and then Peter called me back, and Peter said, like, we opened the conversation and he said, I know who likes who, or rather, I know who likes you. And I was like, oh, do you? And he proceeded to tell me that Tyler had gone through our friend, let me see if I can find his name on the list of people. I know I have it on there. Max is his pseudonym. That Tyler had called Max because he knew that Max had Peter's phone number and that Peter had my phone number. So he asked Peter for my phone number. So we went through weird channels to get my phone number. And when I heard that, I was also uncomfortable. Like, it just didn't sit well with me. Like, I mean, he probably watched the whole thing happen in Spanish class, me give Peter my phone number and stuff. But instead of like finding some organic way to get my phone number himself, he like went through weird back channels. It didn't sit well with me. But then Peter and I continued and we did our homework, and then Peter would ask me like personal questions and I would say not right now because we're doing our homework, and we flirted a lot, and it was a fun phone call, but we really did do our homework because I am a stickler for things like that. I just, I was like, we're going to do our homework. That's the whole point of what we're doing. And it was important to me that he not cheat, because he would try to just make me give him the answer, but I would actually make him do the work and get the answer himself. And I'm really proud of myself for that. Like, grown up me looking back, I'm really proud of myself for not letting him cheat. I helped him with his homework, but I didn't let him cheat off me. And I think that that was good of me. So yeah, that was my first boy phone call. And then more phone calls ensued after that, but that was the first one. And I got mixed feelings. I loved the phone call from Peter. The phone call with Peter was awesome. The phone call with Tyler was interesting. And then I can tell you where things progress from there in the next one. So if you liked this story, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks guys. See you next time.